If you've been following my channel recently, well, you're well aware of this thing called the Xbox tax, and I actually did a video about it. You can check it out, and it goes into detail about exactly what the Xbox tax is, what it entails, and why it's bad for Microsoft. And to me, you know, obviously there's going to be the PlayStation side of it where those type of fans think that it's not true and that Microsoft just needs to step their game up. Listen, Microsoft for sure needed to step their game up, but people that are going to be honest about it, like myself, you know, there's no way that outlets should have reviewed Starfield worse than Crackdown 3. I don't care what planet you're living on. There's no way those games are anywhere near each other. And there were several sites that actually graded Crackdown 3 higher than Starfield. So that should tell you that there is, in fact, you know, different tactics that these places do. Again, it doesn't mean that everyone does it or that no game will score well. It just means that there are certain individuals who don't like Xbox and will score it like that. But with that being said, sure, Starfield was snubbed for the Game Awards, and you know, quite possibly some other Xbox games were as well. But it does look like Microsoft is set to make some major announcements at the Game Awards. Xbox reportedly has a major announcement planned for the Game Awards, and it's causing a stir amongst fans. Arguably the most prestigious event in the games industry, the Game Awards is an opportunity to celebrate some of the best releases of the year and award one incredible game a well-deserved title of Game of the Year. Now, unless that's Baldur's Gate 3, because I literally don't give a damn about that game. Obviously, hopefully, the Game Awards features an update on Xbox, you know, future somewhere along the line. But anyway, the nominees for this year's event have been selected and shared online, and have actually caused a bit of a fuss amongst the community itself, with Bethesda's newest IP, Starfield, having been snubbed, though fans aren't exactly surprised. Additionally, Hogwarts Legacy has failed to be nominated for a single category, causing quite a bit of outrage. And again, I'll say this as well. You don't think Hogwarts Legacy is a Game of the Year contender? Fair enough, right? First of all, I would put that game in there over any remake any day of the year. So there's that. But also, the music was fantastic. It was a top RPG in the game, the best-selling game of the year, at least for narrative, top RPG, script, whatever, musical. There should have been some type of, you know, announced some type of award there, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And people try to defend that, going, oh no, there's just a mid-game or mid or whatever. No, it wasn't. You know, the game was mid-80s rated as it was, and quite a few of the reviews that came out that lowered it, it would have been possibly closer to 90, but a lot of people just don't like J.K. Rowling, and so, you know, they gave it a bad score because of that. You know, it's, you know, that's where the bias comes in, and people don't realize that this is a multi-$100 billion plus industry, that bias exists and that people are petty. That's on them for being foolish. So the Game Awards isn't just about giving shiny trophies to people on a big stage. It's a also prime time idea for major video game announcements and reveals, with soon-to-be viewers hoping for long-awaited GTA trailers or other things. While it's not confirmed if Rockstar Games has anything planned for the event, it is confirmed that Microsoft will have a major announcement to share regarding Xbox, although it remains a mystery what it is. Our buddy Jez Gordon kind of teased the announcement on his podcast, though refused to elaborate further on what it could be. While many believe it could be a major game reveal, others believe it could be something bigger, possibly plans for another acquisition. Microsoft recently closed its deal to acquire Activision Blizzard, meaning that it could be an announcement about new games coming to Game Pass or new releases that could act as Xbox's major exclusives going forward. It will also confirm we'll finally see a release date for the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3, which is still planned for release this year, plotting to a mid to late December release. All we can do now is wait for the Game Awards on December 7th, where the mysterious Microsoft announcement will be unveiled. So, again, Jez Gordon is kind of talking about this and hinting that there's going to be some announcements. It shouldn't surprise anybody that Microsoft would do some kind of big announcement at the Game Awards. In fact, they announced the Xbox Series X and Hellblade 2 at the Game Awards. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty big thing these days. And, you know, to see Microsoft kind of go out there and make these kind of big announcements and stuff, I think it's very important. It is a big award show. I've mentioned this numerous times. Do I think that the Game Awards are good? Yes. Do I think that the Game Awards are fair all the time? No. There's 120 outlets you can look at on the site. You can see the different people that are kind of running this thing, that are picking the games, and many of them do in fact have issues with, like, Hogwarts Legacy on record. They have had issues with that. Others had issues with Microsoft or Xbox, or they feel like Microsoft might be kind of trying to acquire the entire industry, but of course that's not really happening. Microsoft is just doing their own thing and are doing things a little bit differently than, say, Sony was. And then, obviously people look at that as some kind of threat or whatever. It's such a ridiculous thing to me when you see that. I don't understand it, to be quite frank about it. But at the same time, people are going to always look at Microsoft through a different lens than what they do with Sony or Nintendo. Like, literally, Nintendo might be the worst consumer-friendly, most unconsumer-friendly company there is. You can't show their gameplay, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to rebuy the games over and over again, there's no backwards compatibility, you can't even use like simple apps on their thing, they don't have trophies, their online is crap, they still make you use friends codes and all this kind of stuff, weaker hardware. Like, they literally do that, and yet people still kind of act like there's some great thing. I appreciate that they helped save gaming way back in 1985, right? It wouldn't be where it's at, but they also did a lot of things that, in my opinion, weren't right, including trying to box out third parties and only allowing them to release a certain amount of games per year, threatening these third parties to not let them release their games on their platform if they release their stuff on Sega. There's a lot of things in there to kind of unpack. Sony does a lot of these things too. I mean, Sony helped put, obviously not the only reason, but helped put the Dreamcast out of business, Sega out of the console space. Obviously there's other companies in there as well. Since Sony has been around so long, they obviously have built up some of these relationships just better and longer, and there's like the good old boy network in video games. People look at Microsoft as the outsider, unfortunately, and I think that is a very, very bad thing. Again, at the same time, I think it really kind of comes down to what Microsoft will want to do in the future with their platform and how they handle these things. But I think they are starting to handle these things in a much better way than they used to, and it is nice to see that Microsoft is looking at the Game Awards, even though they kind of got snubbed, as still a big event or whatever. Just for the record, I don't think like Jeff Keighley himself he has no say-so in the games that are nominated or anything like that. They have a panel that do that. So, again, we'll see what happens. I'm always like one of those things that happens. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.